Hello, everyone. It's me, your host, Aaron. Just wanted to have a quick chat with you before we get into the podcast. So, I forgot to record the intro of this podcast on video. You will notice it very abruptly starts within this portion. If you listen to the audio version, you will get the full entirety of this podcast. Unfortunately, this portion is incomplete, and that light just turned off on me, and we're going to roll with it. One take, Tony over here. So, if you want to hear what I talked about in the first 15 minutes of the podcast, you can come check us out, Aaron Air Out, on Spotify, Google, Apple, as well as a variety of other podcast services. So, that being said, I'll let you guys get back to your Christmas Eve, get back to Aaron Out, and enjoy me scratching my nose way too much and talking about absolutely nothing of interest. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy.
Christmas Air Out. Christmas Air Out.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house the listeners were stirring while Aaron aired out.
Christmas Air Out. Christmas Air Out. Christmas Air Out. Christmas.
Hey everyone, welcome to the YouTube video that I started recording 15 minutes in. If you were listening to the audio on this podcast, you would have missed out the very interactive and fun 15 minutes where I talk about the analytics of my podcast. But we were just talking about hot glue guns now, so you can hop in right on this. The gist of it being that hot glue guns sound cooler than what they actually are. Am I right? That's my YouTuber voice. Hey, what's up guys? Aaron Brock here with another video for you for Aaron the Brock. Today's weekly wander is going to be in Kazakhstan. That's a pretty good YouTuber voice. That was it. Hot glue gun. Go listen to the audio podcast if you want to hear about my hot glue gun bit that I'm going to try out at open mics coming in 2022 when confident Aaron makes his return to the world. It's like the return of Jesus. It's the return of Aaron. I'm going to come back from the grave. People are going to be like, oh my God, that Aaron guy that was like so entertaining at the Christmas concert in 2012, that guy, we haven't heard from him in ages. What has he been up to? Oh, alcoholicism? Yeah, he's got alcoholicism. And weed stonerism, stonerholic, and a fast food holic. There's a lot of holics. Just a bundle of holics in my body that we're trying to nix. Gruntled. Do you know that I know we all know the word disgruntled. I just learned that gruntled is a word as well. When you're gruntled, you're pleased by something. I'm very gruntled by this. I hope you guys are gruntled by this podcast. That's a quick one. There's a quickie. There's just like a little fun language lesson I wanted you guys to learn with me. Gruntled. I wonder how many more. It's like whelmed and overwhelmed, underwhelmed. Could you ever be whelmed? But that's not an original thought. Gruntled, though, is not an original thought either. I took it from Reddit. But what are you going to do? Batten down the hatches. I was going for a walk the other day, and this phrase came into my head. Batten down the hatches, which I think is a very old term phrase. I should look up. This is what I want to. I want to look up what it meant, because I've always heard it said, and I think it means like close the windows and doors, like secure the windows and doors. But batten down the hatches is such more like an eloquent and impressive way to say it, yet I've never heard either batten. I've never had someone tell me to batten the windows or batten the doors or close the hatches, close your hatches, as in close the windows or doors. I've never heard either of those. I've heard down the in other forms of conversation. I'm familiar with those words. But batten and hatches, why did that phrase get to stick around? Like, what was so important about batten down the hatches that to this day, I feel like we haven't had hatches in 100 years, 150 years, 200 years? I don't know the last time we had a hatch. We had a hatchback at home, but no one's ever battened down the hatchback when they're talking about a Subaru Outback. Batten down the hatches. Hopefully my voice hid. I spelled it wrong. I spelled it baton in my phone. Batten. B-A-T-T-E-N down. Secure a ship's hatch tarpaulins, especially when rough water is expected. The problem with that description is I don't know what a hatch tarpaulin is. So now I've got to go even deeper. Yeah. A hatch tarpaulin. Hatch. Okay, a hatch is something that covers the cargo. I did not know that. I thought the hatch was like a window or like a seaport. I guess they probably wouldn't have windows on those old boats though. Now that I'm thinking about it, because they didn't really have glass. That's a big expense to put in glass windows, and I don't think like the bottom of the deck just like sleeping bags and storage, right? I don't think pirates were too into the aesthetics of their ship, and like the tourist comfort levels of their boat. They're not like Airbnb and their pirate ships as they're pillaging and running eggs downstairs. Something. Okay, so batten down the hatches. So does that just mean secure the cargo? So then I have no idea what this entire thing was all about then, because the whole time I thought it was about close your windows and doors. I wanted to start using that saying like at home, like casually, to like be kind of like hip and stuff. Like, hey guys, let's batten down the hatches. It's getting cold outside. Hey guys, unbatten the hatches. It's warming up. Springtime's here. Let's get those moist sniffers. Moist. See, this is why I want to do the podcast more, and this is why I talk to myself more too, so I can get like quicker on that stuff. Moist. I don't even know what I was gonna say. Moist breeze. Let's get unbatten the hatches. We got a moist breeze to let in here. No. What does batten down the hatch mean? Prepare for trouble, as in here comes the boss. Now we're getting into different territory altogether. The term originated in the Navy, where it signified preparing for a storm by fastening down canvas over doorways and hatches with strips of wood called battens. And it all comes together. The wood are battens. battens. That's what they put those on the doors and over their cargo. They batten down the hatches. And we have learned something on this podcast. A very rare educational Christmas Eve. You can share this at your Christmas dinner. Say, hey guys, do you know what batten down the hatches means? It does not mean close your doors and windows. It actually means storms are coming. Secure your shit. I only have one more thing written in the notes, and it's baby toe corn. I've talked about I have gross feet. A gross foot. Only half is gross. One of them, I had like a pretty significant planter's wart on like the bottom of one foot. And then for my job at the RJ Burnside, I spent a lot of time in rubber boots, and those rubber boots frequently got filled up with water or snow that melted and turned into water. And then I think my feet, like sitting in those wet socks or like in water, just like spread that, I guess, bacteria or the fungus that's inside a planter's wart, and just started spreading it to the rest of my foot. So it was like all little warts all over my foot. And also my baby toe, I guess there's not a lot of room in my boot. So my baby toe is kind of like on one side, the opposite side of the wart foot. So it's not the wart foot, it's the other foot. So maybe both my feet are gross. But the baby foot, like, it's like the bottom of it's like pinching, I guess, underneath. So it's a very like hard, calloused, like little fin on the bottom of my toe. That's like just calloused over, rock solid. And I like scratch at it and like play with it, 'cause it's annoying. But you know, it is what it is. I could deal something with it, I guess, like some cream or something, or get better shoes. But I'm not in the business of solving problems here. I'm in the business of talking about them on a podcast, and that's what we're gonna do. So my baby toe has I think it's called a corn. That's what I came up with. I didn't come up with it. That's what I believe it to be. 'Cause it didn't seem like just like a callus. I think callus is like, I don't know what the difference between a callus and a corn is, but the corn, because it's protruding. I think that's what had led me to it. It's protruding on my baby toe, just all that dead, dry, compact skin. So I was just Googling on my phone, baby toe corn, and I misspelled corn with an X, which very honestly, that's like the safe way you want to misspell it. But making that mistake made me realize what a fine line I was towing by Googling baby toe corn on my phone. Like, people in the FBI were like, baby toe, what? Oh, corn. Okay, very close. False alarm, folks. False alarm. Unbatten the hatches. It's all good. No trouble's happening here. And that's it. That's Ethan was saying like these stories would work better as a multiple person podcast, which I agree. But I don't want to do them over Discord with people, and I don't. I mean, I guess at some point we could slap up right beside me here, slap in another chair, bring in another mic, have another guest. We could do maybe that's. We'll add that to the list of 2022 as well. If anybody wants to be the first, you can fly yourself in to Waterloo. We don't pay any expenses here. You can sleep on our couch. I can give you that option. We can order Penny's hot chicken when you're here. So you're at your expense, of course. But if you want to be on the podcast, or if you want to hear some group podcasts, I would love to do them. That's why I got into this thing, to get better at talking to people and get better at being a conversationalist and speaking freely off my mind. But now we come to the point of the podcast where I have run out of topics in my phone, and we just got to go freestyle. So why don't we start with the easy topic and talk about the Christmas that's happening, the Christmas that's going on tomorrow, if you guys hadn't heard of it. It's this big celebration about this Jesus guy. It was his birthday. And then because of that, we give each other presents now, which no one in my family is getting anything. There's one gift being handed out, and I made it of these little two hands. Something artistic, which maybe you could guess what it is. I don't know. Have to be quite the detective to figure it out. I feel like my voice has been pretty good on this one. I feel like I've been confident in learning how to speak from the diaphragm. I don't really know what that means. I think the diaphragm goes into like your belly, and it's like, I don't know what the difference is between, how would I know if I'm speaking from my diaphragm versus speaking from whatever other portion of my body does the speaking. My head, like my throat. Is it talking from up here? Is speaking your head? And then speaking from down here is using my diaphragm. I don't know. Also, if you heard me, I did some singing in that that intro. Why don't we touch on that first? So Ethan and I, I was supposed to do it like 2 weeks ago. So long ago, I could have been like, hey, Ethan, you want to start working on that song? Because he does 99% of it, and I just do the very simple part of writing it and then applying the vocals that you hear over it. So first I had to, come up with an idea. Aaron's Scare Out was kind of a given for Halloween. That was a freebie. Christmas time was tough. So this took a good group of writers. We sat down, tossed around all the ideas we could possibly do. Christmas Carol. Christmas Carol. Or Merry Air Out. Merry Air Out. Merry Air Out felt a little too tough though on the Merry Air. Merry Air Out. Merry Air Out. Very very slurrable and getting caught in that. So we ended up going with the very creative Christmas Air Out. So if you are unfamiliar with the original, this is the first podcast you listen to. Normally the intro song is Aaron Air Out. But on the Christmas one, we subtly changed it in a kind of a clever and creative way into Christmas Air Out to give that holiday vibe by subliminally letting you know it's a Christmas song. And then we threw some sleigh bells into it, and then Ethan just went to town on the rest of it. The rap portion, I took very famous works of "Twas the Night Before Christmas" and changed the second line. I kept the first because I feel like it just applies to a lot of life scenarios, and there's not a lot of change you have to make to that first line. "Twas the night before Christmas," because it's very fitting, because you will be listening to this potentially on the night before Christmas or the afternoon or morning before Christmas. So I kept that in there, and then I just altered the second half of the lyrics. This is a little a behind the music of Aaron Air Out Christmas theme song. And then the second half, I decided I want to switch this up to represent my podcast. So I went with "The listeners are stirring as Aaron aired out." Me being Aaron, who's doing the airing out, and you guys being the audience. So I kind of really took Christmas, the podcast, you, me, and put it all together into this great song that Ethan captured musically really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. And my singing, which is I don't think it's in the same key as the rest of the song. I don't think. I have a very, Ethan was trying to sing high, but like try and sing below your deep voice in between your high voice. So sing like here, maybe I sing here, Aaron, air out, Aaron, air out. He's like, use more air, and I just ended up getting louder because I don't know what that really means to use more air. Hydration break brought to you by, I don't remember, Boozio. I think this is a Boozio water bottle. I was the trendsetter of the large water bottle this year. I want that to be heard. Dr. Hydro came second to Delilah. That's Delilah. That is Delilah's case. The real Delilah, other Delilah's over there, and then the other Delilah is in the driveway. A lot of things named Delilah in this house. Crazy coincidence. Just you can't write that. That just happens. Yeah. So, but I actually wanna, after singing that song, I had this idea last night. I had this melody in my head that I wanna make a song next year. Ethan, if you're hearing this, I want to make a song. I want to do all the, you're gonna have to really work on my voice. I might need you for some harmonies, but I'm gonna have to write out the lyrics over the break and kind of get an idea of what the melody is. The only thing I have in my head right now is, and the lyrics are in progress, but it's like something like this.
Oh yeah, I'm just a love machine, trying to get your money and escape from the stream. Ooh, I'm just a love machine, trying to make your money and get out of the stream.
So the love machine part.
Ooh, I'm just a love machine.
That's key. That's the thing I've been thinking about the whole time. The rest of it, just like that, I think that's the tempo I want and like the pacing I want of it. And that part's all gonna be harmonized. But I don't really know what the lyrics are. Like, do I want to write this to be like a personal expression of myself, or do I just want to write this as like a pop hit? And I think I'm really thinking of this as like kind of like a techno funk, trying to like I want an intro with a classical piano, dun 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 dun, and like the last note's then the same classical piano note, but it's like an electric keyboard, dun 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 dun, and then it like switches. If you get what I'm saying, it's like switching. It's slowly transforming this classic, beautiful keyboard into like a techno. Bam, 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 bam. Then imagine like a cool bass line, like boom, dum, 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 bum, bum, dum, bum, dum, bum, bum. Funky bass line coming in. Those cool like techno drums. And then it all comes together. And then the chorus is what's really gonna like bring it together.
Ooh, I'm just a love machine, trying to make it better while I take your dream. Ooh, I'm just a love machine, trying to make it better while I take your dream. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love machine.
I don't like that part, but there's gonna be a building portion in it as well. I can see that. So I really gotta sit down and figure that out. Just another thing to add on to the pile of the big 2022, the year of Aaron. The year of Aaron, 2022. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Do you guys have any, I guess I said we were going to talk about Christmas, and then I just started talking about the love machine. Am I the love machine? I don't know. It's not like a song about making love. It's about being a love machine. Maybe you're being stuck in the love machine. What would the love machine be, though? I think the love machine, if I was the love machine, it would be like all these bad habits that give you fake good feelings, fake love. And like I'm stuck in those, like smoking weed and eating food and tugging and staying up late and playing video games and all that stuff. I'm just stuck in this love machine, and I'm trying to get out of the dream, because I do spend a lot of time sleeping. So when you're sleeping, you're typically dreaming. So that was that's what I'm heading for. So you guys got that to listen for. I can't ever figure out which way I'm supposed to brush my hair in this camera. This way. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm just a love machine, trying to make it better till I get out of this dream.
That's too many words, but we'll figure that out. we'll figure that out. And then we have I filmed 2 proton paints now. 3. I filmed 3 that I haven't done commentary over yet. So I gotta decide if I want to film every painting I do. Every painting I do that goes on this wall, if I'm gonna film that for proton paints, or if I'm just going to like paint some and then just record a few, because I do like want to paint more and more, but I also got limited wall space. But also maybe I just start selling them or something. I don't know how you go about selling that stuff. Also, I don't know. Like I'm very attached to all these paintings. I look at them, like I go to bed at night and just stare at them, and like I'm like super proud of all of them, and like I enjoy all of them. But I don't know if anyone else, if it's actually like if they're artistically good. Like I'm very biased about them, and like I'm staring at them right now. Like you can see in the camera, I don't look at you guys. I look at my art because I'm entranced by it. Like there's the one, that guy right there, the hot dog. That's my least favorite one. I don't like that one at all. But like all the others, I'm a fan of those. I enjoy them. I like the process of doing them. So I mean, even if other people don't like them, they can kick rocks. They can kick rocks, man. Yeah. This is tough. Podcasting is a tough. Have I talked about how tough this whole thing has been? How tough this entire transition and like being yourself. Get out there and just be yourself, man. Be who you truly are, and people love you for it. Easier said than done. When you're just like convinced everyone's gonna think you're weird and that you have to impress everybody. You have to impress everyone, make everyone laugh. You have to at all times show how funny and smart you are and confident you are, and just be so much going on. And none of it's true. I've learned that none of it's true. There's this a lot, and I always say like, oh, people think I'm weird. That's like the biggest barrier. Everyone always says, oh, people think I'm weird. People will give me strange looks. And then the thing you got to realize is that it's not people thinking that you're weird that's stopping you. It's you thinking that other people are going to think you're weird. So the thought starts with you. The whole barricade it's all up here. So even, I mean, we went to let's talk about the show saw this weekend. I'll get to that, but what was I saying? Being yourself. I'm giving you guys motivational advice. I'm reaching out and telling you guys what I've learned so far in this journey. It's really hard. And pushing yourself. I remember telling myself, the biggest barrier I have right now is my job. It's if I had all the free time in the world, I'd be doing so much like cool stuff on YouTube. I'd be making so many videos and music and podcasts. I'd be getting out doing stand up and making new friends. Like there's so much I would be doing if it weren't for this job I had. So then I quit the job. And how much of that stuff did I do? I do a weekly podcast, and I occasionally record videos. And I spend most of my time still not being true to myself and being like I make myself laugh. I think thoughts that make me laugh. When I'm in my car, I talk to myself and make myself laugh. But yet when I'm surrounded by other people, I'm like, oh, you know what? I feel too judged to share these thoughts. I don't feel like comfortable sharing my ideas on this sketch, you guys, because you guys wrote it and I don't want my dumb ideas to attain it. And I don't have any confidence in most of my ideas. And I need to just erase those thoughts from my mind. I've actually been studying Buddhism a lot in the past couple days. I'm not a religious man by any means. And Buddhism is not so much, there's no like creationist myth surrounding Buddhism. It's more of like wise ways to just live your life and like live productively and finding nirvana or mindfulness and bliss. I did want to talk about Buddhism actually this episode, which is good. I'm glad I like naturally transitioned to that. I just wanted to maybe we'll just talk about the 4 noble truths. I'm not gonna give you a whole lesson on Buddhism. There are some like really good YouTube videos out there that I've been watching. They're like 20 minutes long. There's one called like Buddhism is like really out there, man. And then another one that's just like, what is Buddhism? A 20-minute introduction. Like those are all I watched. And I've listened to some people talk about like meditation and stuff like that. And I've tried meditation in the past. Never really like tried it though. I've always like done it for 2 days and be like, oh, well, this is boring. And then I give up. And I think it's a daily practice that needs to be done. But the 4 noble truths of Buddhism. This is not a good list. I just want like a jot notes version of it. So what do we have? No. This, I'm gonna have to cut this out now. I just want a tiered list, 1, 2, 3, 4, Four Noble Truths, and these are all in paragraphs. The Four Noble Truths are accepted by all schools of Buddhism and have been the subject. I should look at it's hard to look at the camera and read on a different monitor. The first truth. Tons of phlegm in here. The first truth. Dukkha is characteristics of existence in the realm of rebirth. The first truth. Dukkha is suffering. Though the video I watched, dukkha doesn't directly translate to suffering. It's more like unsatisfaction. Life is unsatisfactory. Life is suffering might be the one that you've heard most. Buddha identified suffering from like just as soon as you're born, aging, sickness, death, encountering unpleasant scenarios, separation from the pleasant, not gaining what one desires, and the 5 aggregates that constitute the mind and body: matter, sensations, perceptions, mental formations, and awareness. I don't really know what that last part means, the 5 aggregates, but the whole life is suffering thing. That's you gotta accept that life is not always amazing and incredible, and things don't go great. It's just periods between really shitty things happening, getting like loved ones or losing loved ones, or them getting sick, or not getting the job you wanted, losing money, fires burning down your house, whatever. It's just life is suffering and full of unsatisfaction. The second truth, or is the cause of the suffering. All suffering comes from craving, is what Buddha believes. It's a wanting to not be where you're at right now, or always wanting to be somewhere else. So suffering all originates in the mind. Suffering, the difference between physical pain, we are aware of it and we know that it's temporary. You know, if you break your leg, you're pretty aware that's not gonna last forever. But suffering is when you are like feeling emotionally unwell and you think, oh, this is going to go on forever. I'm always going to feel this way and there's no cure to it. It's not like a physical damage to your body that you know over time will heal and your body will take care of it. It's internal. You don't know what the damage actually is. You don't know why you're suffering. And you're just like, oh my God, I can't bear this. It can't go on this long. That's what suffering is. It's pain. Pain is mandatory, suffering is optional. And the Buddha believes that this suffering comes from craving. From, I'll be happy if I have this then. I'll be happy if I get a better job. I'll be happy if I make more money. I'll be happy if I'm dating this person. I'll be happier if I have a bigger house. All these things, all cravings, or even just when you're sad and upset about something, you're craving to be happy again. And you're like, oh man, I just want to be happy again. I just want to be joy. I just want to laugh again. And so all suffering comes from that craving, that wanting to be somewhere else and not accepting your position and feelings as you are, and that's how it is. I am sad right now, and that's okay. It's okay to be sad. I will be happy again, but right now I'm sad. You know, that makes sense? In other Buddhist texts, the causes of suffering are understood as stemming from negative actions and the negative mental states that motivate negative actions. In those texts, the mental state of ignorance refers to an active misconception of the nature of things, seeing pleasure where there is pain, beauty where there is ugliness, permanence where there is impermanence, and self where there is no self. So the third truth is cessation of suffering, commonly called nibbana. And they did not explain it. Nirvana. Nibbana, nirvana. So nirvana is when you like finally extract yourself, or you arise above those cravings and you no longer crave new things and you just accept what is right now is what it is. And you know, just accepting that more suffering is going to come and you'll get through it just like everything else. I guess not suffering is going to come, more pain is going to come, more unpleasant things are going to happen, and you are okay with that and you're accepting that's going to happen. And you're not being, drawn in every which way and letting your emotions dictate how you live your life and how you see the world. The fourth and final truth is the path to the cessation of suffering, which was described by the Buddha in his first sermon. Again, this is from the Britannica Encyclopedia, And I really wanted this to be like a very simple, oh, here's the 4 truths. This is what I learned. And then I made it worse. I don't know if you guys ever learned anything, but the main thing I took away from that Buddha thing is that suffering comes from craving. So then I've been trying to like, work catching myself in those thoughts of when I'm feeling down and when I'm feeling blue, and being like, okay, I'm just, rather than tell myself all the things I could do to make myself happier, what are the things I have right now that I should be grateful for and that I should accept and that are reasons right now to be happy? And like right now, I mean, you all know I'm on a path to like want to be an entertainer and make people laugh for a living and make YouTube videos and do podcasts and get on stage and talk to people and all kinds of things. I want interactions with people as an introverted person. So that's not very much in line with one another. Those don't really go hand in hand. Why did I bring that up? And right now, okay, I spent the last week, we'll go back to Buddha. I spent the last week just doing absolutely nothing, making no progress in my life, just expecting things will like somehow work themselves out, and like people will just happen to find my YouTube videos, happen to find the podcast. I got that little glimmer of, hope that, oh my God, maybe people found this podcast and I'm finally going to take off when I got those 140 views in one day. But then that just went right back to normal the next day. Now, I just spent my days like lying in bed, ordering food, smoking weed, listening to music, playing video games, like doing absolutely nothing. Barely got out for walks, didn't play guitar. I was supposed to like hit the ground running this week and be like, okay, degenerate week last weekend, because Will couldn't come up last weekend. So it's just Ethan and I were like, we're going to be degenerates for the whole weekend. And then Monday comes and we're going to be sick. We're going to be crushing it. And it just didn't happen. Monday I did do some stuff. I cleaned my room. I got out. I was pretty good on Monday. But then just the rest of the week, it all just fell apart. I didn't do anything. And then last night when I was alone, I went to the bathroom. And I was looking at the full-size mirror, just looking at myself. And normally I'm scared of my reflection. I'm looking at it, and you ever get really close to your reflection? Like, get your eyes right up on the mirror and just stare into your soul. And then normally I get like anxiety from that because I'm afraid that my reflection is going to do something. Like it's going to like jump at me or like spook me, or it's going to do something that I didn't do. So I'm always like freaked out at that. But this time I went to the mirror and I just had like a really nice conversation with myself. I just looked at my reflection. I was like, hey man, what's going on right now? What are you doing? What are you doing to us? You're spending your days getting high, eating junk food that you don't really want. You're sleeping in. You're not doing any activities. You're letting us get fat and lazy, and you're letting the mind slip. What are you doing? Like, we had such a good thing going at the end of high school. We were doing so well. You can make friends. You can make people laugh. You're smart. But what are you doing right now? Why are you continuing on this path? And I just took that fear of my own reflection and turned into a love. I turned into a love for myself, as you could. I like that little cute laugh at the end of the podcast too. I'm having fun. This should be enjoyable, and I should be enjoying this and then spreading that enjoyment to the people I like to hang out with. That's like the Sapiens book I'm listening to. They talked about happiness at the end of the last chapter I listened to. And like it all comes down to having like good friends and family around. If you have a good community, that's like all you need. So I don't know why I should be focusing more on that stuff and so much less on like shutting myself away and worried what other people are thinking, and just being like enjoying other people and just getting out and socializing and making videos that are me and who I am and sharing those with the world and being the fun and funny guy. Oh, the kooky Aaron. Oh, look at me. I'm such the guy I keep telling myself I am. And then I shut myself off and I don't actually show any of it. So I had a very lovely conversation with myself in the mirror. And I still talk to myself. Like, the mirror on my bedroom door still sees me first thing every morning. I see myself. I go, hey, look at this guy. You did some paintings too? I did paintings as well. That's crazy. Oh, that's awesome. I love you, dude. I love you. He's like my best buddy. And then after that long conversation, I had to go get in my bed and like Google is talking to my reflection. Am I schizophrenic? Am I crazy? Am I weird? And they did say that like it's a good way to, when you have a lot of mental mental thoughts going around as opposed to unmental thoughts. The thoughts originally outside your body. I don't know what that unmental thought would be. But yeah, it's like a good way to process your thoughts and get them out. But also if you do it too much, yeah, it's crazy. It's you should try, if you have the option, go talk to some other people and like talk to your friends. Don't just talk to your mirror like a psycho. So I gotta learn to start talking more. I've been practicing reading out loud, which hopefully has helped this podcast. But like just work on these vocal muscles. Talk to people, get used to saying my thoughts, get comfortable sharing my thoughts, because I'm not thinking any crazy, I'm thinking weird stuff, but I'm not thinking like any like hurtful stuff that would hurt people. I'm usually thinking stuff that makes me laugh or makes I find interesting. So why would I not share that with other people? Because that's what other people want to hear. I spent like so much of this channel being like, okay, what do I want to make things that other people want? What do other people want? And then I'll try to make that. Whereas really, the thing other people want is they want my unique perspective on things. So they want me to not think about them and just be like, hey, Aaron, what do you want to make? Don't make what we want because we want what you want to make. You know? I think so. I think you know. Yeah. So, I mean, going back to this be who you are thing. Be who I am. Aaron, 2022. I went to a show on Saturday with Ethan at Rural Roots. Rural. That's initially R-U-R. That's a tough way to start a word. Rural. Is it rural? Rur. What is that sound? Rur. I don't even know what my mouth is doing when I make that sound. Rural Roots. Rural Roots in Elmira. At Rural Roots, I'll say it less. Rural Roots in Elmira, a brewery. Very cool, a cool little spot. They like built this outdoor back patio. I put it in quotations for those of you just listening to the audio. They built like a little outdoor patio that's pretty much 99% closed off. But there's one little door open on the side that's like, this certifies us to be outside and not inside. So we're good to have dining in here. And the reason we were there was because we were watching Tyler Fry and the Mile Highs perform their set. That's right. Ethan is in a band. He's the drummer. I've talked about Tyler Fry, the lead singer, before. I met him at the end of November, I think it was. And this is the first time I've seen Ethan and his band perform. This is the first time I've seen Ethan perform not with like a high school band where he's playing like classical music or like jazz music. So it was a super fun time. I honestly had really low expectations. I was like, oh, they're probably going to be like, okay, like maybe I'll recognize some of the songs they're playing, but literally every song they played, I was like, wow, this is very close to the original and like incredibly impressive. Like I was blown away. And watching that was super fun. Watching all the musicians have like their jam faces. Like this is my Scott impression. Kind of like a Robert De Niro. Ethan goes fish mouth the whole time. And Tyler is just this is only for the video viewers, by the way. And Tyler's very stern and stoic like this. And that's how they all looked, and it was very fun to watch them play. And I like that just watching them like them communicate on stage and like looking around at each other when they're playing. That's what I want. That getting on stage and like just you are performing for an audience, but really it's like it's for you guys. Like that's the show. It's still like you guys playing music, and like that's where it all started. I've always liked that relationship, and I'll be like, have that on stage one day. Not even necessarily doing music. It'd be fun to do like live shows, live podcasts or something, or where it's like us on stage vibing, having like clicking, and then it's shared with a live audience who's giving you like natural feedback like immediately. That's my draw to the live shows, is that immediate feedback. Whereas these videos, I like make them. I'm like, I think they're funny, and then I put them out, and like, no one comments on them. So I'm like, I still don't know if it's funny or not. Maybe it is. I don't know. That was a super fun time, and I spent it talking to a guy I met at Tyler's house, Master P. I did tell him about my podcast. Felt very uncomfortable. I guess because Ethan mentions that I do a podcast, and Tyler he'd listened to a couple episodes. He knows about the podcast. I think I told people like in passing, like, hey, I do a podcast. I never want to say the name of my podcast though, because I don't really want people listening to these early ones. This is just something I want my friends to suffer through as I learn the ins and outs of the talking to yourself world. I don't really want strangers to like come listen to these, and it's not really. I feel like if you don't know me, it's not really going to be too interesting, because it's just a lot of personal stories or a lot of anecdotes about people I know, and not so much like stuff at the general population, which hopefully one day I'll get there and I can talk about more broad topics. But right now we're just learning how to talk, period. So yeah, I don't really want like strangers listening to this. Not strangers. I want strangers to listen to this, not people, like not friends, acquaintances who would somehow like just like see me at like situations and scenarios, see me at different places like over time. And everyone's also like pretty apologetic, like, oh, I heard you did a podcast. I'm sorry, I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm like, no, don't apologize. You don't owe me anything. I don't want anyone to listen to it. Just when I say I do a podcast, you say, oh, neat, that's cool, and then we'll just drop it at that and let's move on to a new. Don't ask me what the podcast is about, because I don't know. It's not about anything really. It's about me trying to talk to a mic for an hour and hopefully entertaining people. But I ended up talking to this guy, Master P, who he's a fellow quiet guy. It's funny because we had met before, and neither of us know how to do small talk. I always go in like so confident. Like what I need to do is when I meet people, just be like that talky guy right away. Be like, hey, introduce myself. Don't wait to be introduced, and like start that conversation on a strong foot. But what I tend to do is just like, I'm just gonna sit back and like chill and like see what's going on, you know. Check out what's going on, what's everyone up to, what's the mood like, and then maybe in a few hours I'll jump in and say something, you know. Really set myself up like a tiger waiting for the right punchline to pop up for me. And that's what I ended up doing. Like I got super reserved and quiet. I was more like observing what's going on, and I'm not uncomfortable doing that. I'm fine in silence. I'm cool with it. Like, but whenever I'm in silence, I'm more concerned. Like, are they okay in silence? Like, should I be talking for their benefit? And like, are they uncomfortable right now, sitting beside this quiet guy who's just like happy listening to the music? And I think Master P was a little shy. It's funny when someone else, like when you think you're doing really bad at conversation, and then the other person's like, hey man, I'm so sorry, like I'm not good at this stuff. And I'm like, no, it's me. I'm not good at conversation. You're doing well. I'm impressed by your conversational abilities. Me, on the other hand, is lacking. Where Master P, on the other hand, was like, no, I'm crappy at conversations. You're the expert. The last time we hung out, you were like talking all night, and I was like, that's not fair. It's not a fair assessment, because Ethan does most of the talking for me. I just hop in on some of his bits, you know, add in some like Aaron seasoning. I just add a little dash Aaron. I'm not very good at telling where this camera is and where my body is in relation to it. But yeah, I usually just rely on Ethan to like intro all the topics, and then I can like piggyback off that. But driving my own conversation. We watched this Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. They're talking about they're having a dinner party, and so if you imagine a table for 8 people, 2 at the heads, 3 on each side, pretty simple. Then the 2 people in the middle were called the middles of the 3 people on the sides. You got 1 on each side of the middle, and those are the people that are like supposed to drive the conversation. They like get everyone involved. They have fun stories. You know, they're making jokes. You know, keeping the entertainment flowing. And then like, so Ethan is a very strong middle. He'll pull everyone. He'll talk to anyone on the table. I'm a good middle, I'd say, with certain people. Like if you set me up across Ethan, I'd be a great middle. If you set me up across someone I don't know, I'm going to be a terrible middle. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not very good at just like coming up like, oh, this would probably be a fun story for someone to hear. Just like on a podcast I can, because there's no like pressure of anyone around me or watching me. It's just me in charge of the whole thing. But when there's like that live audience and that automatic reactions, I'm like, oh man, whatever I say has to be really, really, really good to impress them. And I'm learning it doesn't. I'm learning it does not have to. So that, yeah, I spent the evening with Master P. Both of us kind of like awkwardly trying to make conversation. And as soon as he said that I was doing better than him, I've got this weird like competitiveness inside me where it doesn't apply to sports or like video games or anything like that. I don't really care. I just like want to have fun doing that stuff. But my competitiveness comes in like non really competitive things. Like we had this app that I was on with Sarah and Henry, the Nike Run Club, where you just, you use it when you go for a run, and then it tracks your kilometers with all your friends. There's like a little leaderboard. And that, I always want to be on the top of that leaderboard, no matter what. So whenever I would see like Henry getting close to me, he's like, oh, Henry's within 2 kilometers. I would just go out for a 10-kilometer run just to like make sure I have a big gap between us. And like, I'm only running to remain on top of this leaderboard. I'm not doing it for the health benefits. I'm not even doing it because I'm like, screw you, Henry. I'm the better runner. It's just purely like I could win at something, and I could feel like I'm on the top for a bit. And then it came into like class presentations. The same thing comes up. Everyone's like, oh man, I hate presentations. I'm so scared to talk. Then I'm like, well, I got no problem talking. I can talk in front of people. I'll show you how it's done. I'll take the lead on this. And yeah, things like that. So I get like competitive about things that there's no prizes handing out. There's no there's no reward for doing better than the other people. I guess for like presentations there was grades in that, but like we're all getting the same grade. It's all the same presentation. But it's like, yeah, whenever there's no one else to step up, then I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll step up. I'll be that guy. But I'm not the first one. I'm not what is that? I'm not one to take initiative. I think that's what I'm looking for. I'm not one to take initiative and like jump at the opportunity. Like, this is going to be my thing. Trust me, guys. I got us. That only happens when I realize that there's no one else, and I'm like, oh, fine. So I gotta change that as well. In Aaron 2022, that's gonna be the motto. That's gonna be what this podcast is called, Aaron 2022. And this isn't even the last podcast before the new year. We got one more on New Year's Eve coming out. Yeah, next Friday. So, hopefully my plan, we are getting close to the end of this one. My plan is to bring my computer home tomorrow. I guess would be today for you guys listening. For Friday, I'm going to plan to head home, assuming I'm not working. If I get a call from Jeff on New Year's Eve, I'm going to be livid. No, I'm not. I'm not, though, because I'm going to be like, I thought it didn't work for you guys anymore. Sorry. I'm out. So, yeah, I'm planning on bringing the computer home for probably like a 2 weeks. Pretty much 2 weeks. Go home Friday, come back to Waterloo in like January 3rd or something after New Year's Eve. And then the new routine starts. First thing we got to do is start looking for another job. Maybe now we start looking to that Uber Eats or like, what's that other one called? With the groceries. The one with the groceries. This is why I need a producer to tell me. Instacart. I could do Uber Eats or Instacart is what I want to do. I don't really want to drive people around like a taxi service, though. I mean, it could be a good way to work on my social anxiety. Just get used to talking to people. But nah. So, yeah, new year, new videos, new me. Aaron 2022. Aaron 2022 2 Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, I think it's time to end because my nose is just getting itchy, and I've got to edit this whole podcast and the video. I guess I really just have to do the video tonight and then do the audio. See, I'm already figuring out how I can procrastinate. I'm bad. I should just do all of it before 8 p.m. tonight. We've been watching Christmas movies at 8 p.m. because we planned a Christmas movie marathon last Friday for when Will was coming, but he couldn't make it due to some family troubles. So we've been watching them at 8 p.m. every night this week. And tonight is going to be either Scrooged or The Night Before. It's going to be a coin flip. And that'll be the last Christmas movie we watch until next year. So ideally, I'd have all this podcast edited and done, and then I could just kick my feet up from 8 p.m. onwards. I know that's not going to happen, though. I'm going to get off this thing, and I got to work out and do yoga, too. I got to put working out back into the schedule. That's, I think, adding 20 minutes of kettlebell today will be hugely beneficial to, like, not only getting, like, my heart rate going and get my physical stamina back, baby. Ugh. But, like, mentally, I think it'd make me better and, like, keep me more productive. And it's just 20 minutes. Like, how can I not justify 20 minutes? That's nuts. Oh, anyhoozle. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything you want to send me for the end of year episode? If you want to like send me just like a little letter or something that I could read on the podcast, like what you've thought about this podcast so far this year, maybe like an end of year one of the podcast. That counts because it is the first year of the podcast ending, even though it's not a year of podcasting. Yeah, that's not gonna be mandatory like the voice clips were, which I've got them all. I probably said that weeks ago, but that channel trailer will hopefully come out again next year, January sometime. Yeah, wowee! Look how far we've come though. These things I used to panic, watching the recording. How much time have I done? How much time do I have to do? What am I going to talk about to entertain these people? And the truth of the matter is, you guys will listen to anything, and whatever I put out, you guys just seem to listen to it. So I'm gonna stop caring so much about it. That's a terrible idea. I'm gonna stop giving a shit about this podcast, honestly, because you guys have terrible taste and you're gonna listen to whatever I say. So I'm just gonna start throwing out garbage. Me yodeling for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm just gonna give you an hour 15 of love machine, trying to make it better till I escape the stream. I don't know, man. I'm feeling like a good mood. I'm feeling optimistic. Even after coming out of this weeks of degeneracy, I know what I have to do to like take my life to the next level. I know what I gotta do. I know what's in me. I didn't talk about this, but I got an email from my old manager Joanne, and she was checking in. She's like, "How's the new career going?" I watched a couple Wanders, but I haven't watched them lately. She's doing well, COVID stuff, and she's like, "I think about you often. Hope you're doing well." And that was really sweet to get. And that was sweet was not my initial reaction though. My initial one was like panic, like, oh my god, because it like just highlighted me to the idea that other people are looking at what I've put out, and there's not much to judge on. Like I left a really good job, and I think they know it, and they're like, he vlogged a bit, and then he does a podcast, and he said he was getting into comedy, but we've yet to see the comedy. So yeah, I took like 4 days to respond to that, because I was like, how do I like lie and be like, oh yeah, I've got so much stuff going on, like I'm so busy, or do I be like, yeah, I've just been a total degenerate, I've just been doing nothing, and instead I took the lie route, and I was like, well, not full lie. I did tell her like I have not uploaded as much as I wanted to, which is true. But I also told her like I'm happy, I'm enjoying myself, and while I do still have moments of self-doubt and telling myself that this was a terrible mistake and what are you doing, I then also have moments where I remind myself that like, hey, people are listening, people enjoy this, you are still in the early stages where you're allowed to suck. Sucking is totally okay if you like keep at sucking. If I sucked and then quit, that's not very noble. That's not, people aren't going to look up to that. But you make 15 bad podcasts. Guess what you do next week? You make a 16th bad podcast. That's just what you do. You just keep sucking, and eventually they'll just bit by bit suck less and less, and then you'll be somewhere you never even expected. So yeah, I finally responded to that, and I was like, hey, things are going well. Big plans for 2022. Hope you're doing well. So, but that stressed me out for a few days. And like yesterday was being that entire degenerate. I think, yeah, I ended up responding to it yesterday, but like she sent it on Saturday, so it was a while. Yesterday being Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Yeah. That's all I got. But I don't know. Now I'm getting to a point. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm getting used to doing these podcasts, and I just don't want to end them. This is why I can't do podcasts when I'm home alone. And now I'm going to set the bar I can't add in voices. I can't be too relaxed doing these because come January, even I'm gonna have to record one at home. I'm gonna have to like wait for everyone to go to bed, so I'm like not embarrassed. I don't want people listening to me while I record a podcast. That's the only thing. I don't want people. Same with filming videos. I don't want people to watch me filming a video because then I can't like really get into it and be like super, be me. You know. I just need to get over that, and the only way to get over that is to just ignore them and like not care. Like because they don't care, and that's the fact of the matter is people don't really care. What am I doing on this outro? What am I doing? I just want to end it, but I don't want it to end, you know? Because as soon as it ends, I have to edit it, and then I have to editing it's less fun. It's a lot less fun than recording it because recording it, once I hit that play button, it's just smooth, milky music to your ears. Oh, and I got the video now to edit. That's but I think that's a good. We're at what, like an hour 10? I think so. We got like I want to get like an hour of video at least, and then stick an intro on, stick an outro out. Oh, but that's it. Well, it's Christmas, everybody. Christmas is tomorrow, or Christmas has already happened. I hope you had. If Christmas hasn't happened yet, have a very airy Christmas, everyone. Airy Christmas. And if Christmas has already happened, I hope it was very airy. Oh, I'm just kidding around with you guys. You have yourselves a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you on New Year's Eve. Take it easy, everybody.